Hi and welcome to Quirky Books with Katie. Today I'm going to be talking about the books that I read in the month of July and plan to read in the month of August. So I have been in a huge reading slump for most of the month of July. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the fact that it's summer or I just haven't felt like reading, so I haven't really gotten around to reading that much. The first book that I read in the month of July was actually a reread for me, and that is Fang Girl by Rainbow Rowell, and this is one of my all-time favorite books. I absolutely adore it, and this is about a girl named Kath, and she is a fan fiction writer. She writes fan fiction for Stein and Snow, which is basically like Harry Potter, and she goes off to college and kind of has to grow out of her shyness, and this is just such a great coming of age story, and this is one of my all-time favorite books and I love it so much. The next book that I read is Dollhouse by Anya Allen, and I was actually sent this to review from Paper Lantern Lit Publishing Company, and this is the story of a group of friends, and one of them goes missing and they eventually find her, but they find out that there is this madman and he has been creating living dolls basically out of humans. And it was a really creepy book, and I ended up giving it 2 out of 5 stars. I was not the biggest fan of it. I thought it was really creepy, but it lacked a lot of important character development. The next book that I read is Wait for You by J. Lynn, also known as Jennifer L. Armentrout, and this is a new adult book, and it is the story of a girl who moves far away from her family after a traumatic event happened to her, and she meets this guy who seems to be the typical popular jerk, but it turns out that he is more than what he seems, and throughout the book she has to deal with a new relationship and dealing with her past. Now I don't really read a lot of new adult, so this was kind of new for me. I gave this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I really liked the storyline. However, I do have a problem with Jennifer L. Armentrout's writing. I always have. I don't know, I think it's just a little too choppy for me, and some of the new adult content was a little racy or risque for my taste, but I know a lot of other people that really like this book. So after I read Wait for You, the Booktubeathon happened, and if you want to see what I read during the Booktubeathon, I will link my wrap-up down below. So when I was on vacation, I picked up Jessica's Guide to Dating on the Dark Side by Beth Fantasky, and I was, not a fan of this book. This is the story of a girl named Jessica, and she finds out that she is a princess in this royal vampire race. And I had so many issues with this book. First of all, the girl Jessica is your typical wishy-washy YA protagonist. Oh, woe is me, I'm just normal. Then a guy comes along and she's like, oh, I'm perfect now. Oh, I have so much going for me. And she changed so much for the guy, and all she cared about was this guy, and he wasn't anything great, and I was just not a fan of this book. Gave it 2 out of 5 stars. Would not recommend. So now on to my August TBR. So because I am such a procrastinator, I have not yet started my summer work for English class. Not very good. I have to read 4 books, so these are the 4 books that I have to read. The first book I have to read is The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini, and this book is about Afghanistan, I believe, and this book has been critically acclaimed for years. I know a couple of my friends have already read this and loved it, so I'm actually pretty excited to read this one. The next book that I plan on reading is Withering Heights by Emily Bronte. Have already read this, love it, and for this book, my teacher gave us a list of, I think, about like 30 classics, and they said pick one. Decide to read this. This is the story of the Moors of England, and a very breathtaking and very dark romance between 2 people, Kathy and Heathcliff, and I am in love with this book. It's one of my favorite classics, and I hope I will fly through this. The next book that I have to read is Hamlet by William Shakespeare, and at my school every year you have to read a Shakespeare play. Freshman year I read Julius Caesar, sophomore year was Othello, last year was Macbeth, and now is Hamlet. This is Shakespeare's probably most famous and most well-renowned play, and I'm excited to read this. I love Shakespeare. His writing is just thebomb.com. And the last book that I have to read for my summer work is Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. This is a dystopian, I believe. It's one of the first dystopians, this and 1984 by George Orwell. I love 1984. I hope this is going to be good. I've heard some mixed things about it. I feel like this is a very polarizing book. People either love it or hate it, so I hope I enjoy it. So that is going to be all for my August TBR. I have to make myself read those books before I read any others. But some of the other books that I'm excited for, Colleen Hoover's newest book, Ugly Love, comes out. And I love Colleen Hoover. I've read Slammed, Hopeless, and Maybe Someday by her, and all of them were amazing. And also the last book in the Anna and the French Kiss companion series by Stephanie Perkins comes out, and that book is Island the Happily Ever After, and I'm very excited to read that as well. So if you have read any of these books, let me know in the comments down below if you want to see any reviews, or just let me know what you plan on reading in August. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you again soon.